Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Ocean Spit, the little show about big things. Hope you guys are having a great day today. Today is Friday, July 12th. Check the website, TonyOceanMusic.com, and give us a call at 847-769-8609 to book a show. Every show is dedicated to the first responders. It's mostly dedicated to people like you who take the time and watch the show on all 5 of our social media outlets. Whether you're watching it now on the Tony Ocean Show Facebook page, the Mo Carraro Facebook page, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, and the Ocean Spit Facebook page. Whatever you're watching it, whether you're watching it here at lunchtime or you're watching later on today, we really do appreciate it. I got my good friend Pat, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, he runs the Great Lyric Theater in lovely Blue Island. We're going to talk to him, and he's got a lot of good stuff that he's been through, and we're going to talk about that. So, guys, it's showtime. Let's go to work. Thank you, Dino Manzella from Seventh Heaven, for that great intro. Hey, man, we got a great show lined up for you. My good friend Pat is here from the Lyric Theater. We'll talk to him in a few seconds. But, guys, let's not forget our sponsors. That's right. The number one sponsor, our good friends from Ace Hardware. Ace is the place. Buy local, shop local, folks. Norridge, Des Plaines, Evergreen Park, Warrenville, and Mesa, Arizona. Today from 11 to 3 o'clock, folks, in the location in Warrenville. Yesterday they were in Norridge. They had the number 20 Craftsman NASCAR car, same one that ran this past 4th of July weekend downtown in the city. The car is actually going to be there, folks. You can go over there, take prizes. Win some prizes, get some pictures. They're going to be doing a lot of great stuff. They're going to be grilling there too at the locations. So make sure you check that out today in the Warrenville location. Guys, summer deals happening now at all their stores. 50% off lawn and garden decor, 40% off all their outdoor decorative chimes, piano sets on sale, lowest prices of the season. They also have a handyman in Norridge and Des Plaines who is licensed and insured. Our good friends from Ace Hardware. Ace is the place. Buy local, shop local, folks. And don't forget to tell them to grill your ace off and get $20 off any grill purchase. That's our good friends from Ace Hardware. And let's get one more right now, folks. How about my good friend Mary Grievous? That's right, folks, for all your real estate needs. There's only one person to do it, my good friend Mary Grievous, folks. The perfect real estate, whether you're professional, whether you're putting your home on the market or looking for your dream home, give her a call today. She's available to assist buyers, sellers for sale by owners, expired listings. Mary Grievous, that's Berkshire Hathaway Stark Real Estate. Give her a call at 630-688-1725 or go to mgrievous@starkre.com. And, folks, if you're talking about Mary and you're talking about real estate, then you also got to talk about Mary and the Chicago Music Cruise 2025. You know what? We love this cruise, and we hope you're going to love it, too. It's going to be fantastic, folks. Now, you missed the one in January. This one's going to be even better. March 22nd to March 30th, 2025, Royal Caribbean Cruise Line, the Oasis of the Seas. Tony Ocean and the main event band, Mojo's Jukebox, my rock band, Hillbilly Rock Stars, the number one country band in the city of Chicago, Seventh Heaven, of course, the ringleaders, and, of course, joining us, Frankie Hollywood Rodriguez and the Jersey Girls. All of them. 8 days, folks. Here we are live on the Royal Caribbean Cruise Line 2025. Absolutely, folks. Florida, Fort Lauderdale, of course, Carousel, Aruba, and Coco Key, Bahamas. It's going to be a lot of fun, folks. ChicagoMusicCruise.com or give my good friend Mary a call at 630-688-1725. All right, ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, Pat is in the studio. He is here. He's ready to go. And let's bring him on. Let's first get rid of that. All right, Pat, how are you doing, my dear friend?
Hey, Tony, how's it going? Happy Friday, everyone.
Happy Friday indeed, Pat. Now, how do you pronounce your last name? Because there's a lot of different ways of pronouncing it. So give me the right of
There is Disabato.
Disabato. Very good. Now, Pat, where were you born?
I was born in Blue Island, lifelong Blue Islander, Tony.
Your whole life on the south side of Chicago, and you had come from a big family?
No, I have two older brothers. But when you're born into paradise, you stay in paradise, and Blue Island is paradise. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Great. Blue Island's beautiful up there, folks. Actually, one of my favorite bands ever come out of Chicago is from Blue Island. Of course, we're talking about Enough's Enough. It's going back in the 80s, but they were from Blue Island, actually. Chip might even still live there. I'm not quite sure. But
Chip does live there, Tony. He just popped into the theater a couple days ago. I think we tentatively booked Enough's Enough for April. So it's like a homecoming for him.
It's going to be very cool. They're fantastic. All right, Pat, growing up in an Italian family, for some people that might not realize what it's like, what was it like a regular day in Pat's life growing up?
Well, yeah, I mean, my mother, God rest her soul, just a phenomenal cook. I had homemade pasta whenever I wanted, homemade bread whenever I wanted. So, just a very loving family. And, my father worked hard, blue collar guy. And worked every day. He had a bad hip, but he wanted to work every day. And my mom, she was a pizza maker. She worked at a local place called Ray's Pizza. And then when she retired, she got dragged out by Beggar's Pizza, which is owned by the current ownership of Lyric, so Larry Goretto. So she worked there for another 14 years. But, growing up in Blue Island on the east side, which predominantly Italian, I had an idyllic childhood. Lifelong friends, still friends of mine I've had for 52 years of my life, man. So, I mean, it was just incredible to go out and play ball every day, go to the park, ice skate. Just had so much fun. So many great memories.
Well, you know what? That's kind of cool because there's a lot of people that can't say that they actually still have friends from grade school or high school and still hang out with those people, which is good. I think that's the whole Italian nature most of the time, the heritage, the way it is. You got some great friends watching, folks. Let's say hello to Sheila. How you doing, Sheila? Says hello, Pat, Nina, Vince Amore, another entertainer, Chicagoland area. Albert from the Ron Onesti organization. Dick Sayed, Alderman Dick Sayed from Des Plaines, Double T. Jill from Indiana, Jerry Jams, how you doing? We got California, Ohio in the house. Anyway, it's fun. My good friend Pat here from the Lyric Theater. Pat, okay, so, before we get to the Lyric Theater, as reading some of your bio, you've been sort of involved in the entertainment type field for a while now. I mean, I know I didn't realize as a sports writer for 31 years with the Daily Southtown newspaper. Wow, that is fantastic. So what was that like?
Well, that was pretty incredible. I mean, when I was 5 years old, I had two things I wanted to be in life, either a sports writer or a professional baseball player. And, I just was very fortunate. I kind of got some journalism experience at Eisenhower High School, and then I went on to Lewis University, played baseball there, got a journalism degree from there. And but to I'm a South Side guy, like you said. So working for the Daily Southtown and the Star newspapers prior to that, they were heavy into the South Side, and that was my bread and butter, man. So I covered predominantly high school sports, college sports. Well, one of our guys would go on and play professionally, like a Dwayne Wade, Antoine Walker, so many great athletes, Antoine Randall. I would shift to the professional situation kind of and interview these guys when they came back into town as players. So, we had countless athletes, and I really consider it the golden era for the South Side in the 90s. I mean, just the number of players who went on and achieved stardom, be it in the NFL, Major League Baseball, the NBA. It was just incredible times all the way through my tenure. I mean, Alec Thomas, Mount Carmel grad, who is with the Arizona Diamondbacks right now, probably the second best baseball player ever covered at the high school level. First being Cliff Floyd out of Thornwood. I just was very blessed. I never got up in the morning and said, "Oh, I hate this job. I love this job," and
so it's like almost you never worked a day in your life, because they say if you enjoy your job, you're not really working. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. Pat, of course, is watching us. We're off, my good friend Pat here from the Lyric Theater in lovely Blue Island. That's 12952 Western Avenue in Blue Island, folks. That's lyrictheater.com. Guys, but we're talking about being a sports writer for 31 years now, covering the high school and college. And then you look at some of the professional teams in the city of Chicago. And I don't know, Pat. You can answer me. I have athletes on. I had people on. I have all people on the show, and I'm wondering, why is it that the city of Chicago, for some odd reason, never wants to spend the money and try to get really good teams? Or am I just coming? Am I talking out of my ass here? I mean, the Cubs for years, right? Please help me out here.
Well, I mean, I don't think it's a lack of spending. The exception being the White Sox. You know, they have never had a salary that's exceeded $100 million in total. You know what I mean? So they've been a little frugal. But I think the Cubs, you know, they spent a lot of bad money over the years, but they spent a lot of money. And they've spent a lot of money now. They're a $200 million salary. I mean, plus. Yeah. So I can't really fault the Cubs for that. And the Bears, they've spent a lot of money in the wrong places for the most part. You know, I think it's just not signing the right people at the right time. I really don't think the Chicago team's been that frugal. I mean, look at the Blackhawks, Tony. I mean, did you ever think, after what you had to endure with Rocky Wirtz for all those years, and here they win 3 Stanley Cups in 7 years? I mean, it was unbelievable. You know, now it's falling off the cliff, but
it makes you wonder that if the father never died, Rocky never died, would you wonder they probably still wouldn't be on television?
You're absolutely right. And I think that's going to be the same thing with Jerry Reinsdorf and the White Sox. You know, something needs to happen, and I'm not wishing ill will on anybody, but I think for the White Sox to become a major player and to spend money, you know, it's going to have to be a, you know, new ownership to come in there and do it, because history suggests they're not going to spend a lot of money.
No, and there was rumors. There's been other cities that want them. I think Nashville, North Carolina, one of the teams, somebody wants them. I think they'd be better off going there because they would be the number one team, and everybody would be, instead of being the second, you know, like the stepbrother of the Cubs, which, you know, I mean, but remember, the Sox did win a World Series with Ozzie. I still like their stadium. It's beautiful there. I mean, it doesn't have, you know, I think the people that actually go to the White Sox really like the White Sox. I think 90% or maybe 75% who go to the Wrigley Field for the experience more than they really care for the team.
Well, you know, you're talking to a Southside Cubs fan. I'm a diehard. Okay. I love the Cubs. But Sox fans, you put a winner on the field, they're going to go. You don't put a winner on the field, they're not going to support the team for the most part by, you know, spending their money on tickets. Where Cubs fans, you know, it's well documented. You know, they're going to go out there, have a great time, sit in the bleachers, and, you know, Wrigleyville is something else. Even though the Wrigleyville, since they've won the World Series, is not the Wrigleyville that I know and that I grew up on. It's it's so corporate and it's so shiny. It's lost a little bit of its grit. You know what I mean? So it's a whole different situation. But, you know, Wrigleyville's a great time. It's a great time. And Sox just didn't do it right when they built that stadium. They just did not do it right.
Do it right. Well, it is what it is. Now that is, so being a reporter, sports writer for 31 years now, I mean, it was different back then. You actually reported what you believed in, what you thought of the player, right? Now, these days, it looks like they're telling you what to say, what not to say. I mean, what's the difference, you think, in your opinion, between sports writers back then compared to sports writers now?
Well, you know, I could, from personal experience, and again, I'm doing a lot of high school stuff, but you could, you know, say what you feel, you know, 30 years ago. Now, as I got a little bit longer in my career, you had to walk on eggshells a little bit. You know, I mean, I had the experience and the respect from doing it a long time where I can get away with a little more, you know, in terms of my writing. But yeah, you know, you got to deal with parents, you got to deal with administrators, and, you know, everyone's so afraid to lose their jobs, even teachers and coaches now, because if you say something wrong, administrators pretty much are going to back the parents, whether they're right or wrong. That's just the way things are. And they're so afraid of lawsuits and everything else now. I think that's really changed. And, And that's the one thing when I had my experience with professional sports, everything was so regimented. Reporters had to go in at this time. You couldn't be here at this time. You couldn't talk to this person at this time. And I'm just like, holy cow, this is just so different. It was just such a different experience. And reporters weren't really respected all that much at the professional level. That's another thing. It's just a different ball game, man. I mean, you were looked down upon, lucky to be able to do this job. So it's a different animal. And now it's a real different animal because people really aren't reading the newspaper as much.
No, they're not. But remember, Pat, what was the name of the show with the 4 guys, the 5 guys that are sitting in a cable show of the old men with the cigars, and they would
sports writers on TV. Yep.
Oh my God, that was my favorite. I used to watch that all the time.
Yeah, Bill Joust and Rick Tellender. There were 5 of those guys, and that was old school, man. It's like you said, smoking cigars on set, and Bill Gleason, who was a fellow Daily Southtown guy.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, but can you imagine? Now you got all these other ones on ESPN. It's not anything like that show.
It's not. It's not. You're absolutely right. We got Pat here from the Lyric Theater in Blue Island. We will definitely talk about the theater, folks, but he had so much going on. Tell me, Pat, about Coach's Corner TV show. What was that about? Was that another sports type show?
Yeah, that was a show I did for like 20 years. And it was a lot of fun. It kind of coincided with covering high school sports in the South Side. And we talk about every week. I'd go to a different high school stadium for the most part, or I'd do shows from Northwestern University, different things. But I'd always go predominantly to a different high school, talk to the coach. When the weather was nice in the fall, football coaches, do it from the 50-yard line, and then shift indoors during the inclement weather. But it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun, and got to interview coaches and players on the TV show. And it was just about promoting the area, promoting the kids, the high schools, and just give them some additional exposure and, make some memories, man. So that was a lot of fun for 20 years. When I first started out, I had a co-host by the name of Jeff Ponzak, and we used to have fun, and we used to push the envelope, as you talked about. I mean, we pushed the envelope, got ourselves in a little trouble here and there, but we had a lot of fun and people laughed.
Good for you, pushing the envelope. I think it's important to push the envelope, and that's the problem with any type of with newscasting or with sports or with entertainment, anything right now. They're trying to just tell you now. I mean, you got to still believe in what you believe in. And, I've been doing this show now since 2020. And, even my sponsors are behind me. I think it's important to be honest. I think people can see if you're humble and honest instead of just being some guy that's just going off. You know what I mean? From what you believe in. And that's very cool. So you had newspaper, you had television, doing all that stuff. And then you were drafted by the New York Mets. Now, I'm a diehard Yankee. I have Yankee everything. My house is all Yankee. Jeter, I got Jeter jerseys. I got Mariano Rivera signed ball. I got a lot of great stuff, the Yankees. What was that like, Pat, getting that call that you're going to be drafted for the New York Mets?
Well, that's a really funny story. I'll be brief about it. And you know what? I'm a Yankees guy because my all-time favorite player ever is Ron Guidry, left-handed pitcher. I was a left-handed pitcher. That was my guy. I have a plaque of him on my wall over here that you can't see of Ron Guidry. But that's my guy. I love Guidry. But being a Cubs fan growing up, and 1987 is when I got drafted out of Lewis University, and I was actually working for the local park district, Blue Island Park District. I was cleaning the urinal, like 3 blocks from my house. And summer day, I wasn't sure if I was going to get drafted or not. I had some arm issues my junior year, and all of a sudden, my 2 brothers come storming into the bathroom at the park district and tell me, you've been drafted by the New York. And I was praying they were going to say New York Yankees because the Cubs fans hated the Mets, Strawberry, Gooden, all those guys. And
sure.
Said the Mets. I got drafted by the Mets. I'm like, oh my God. I mean, lifelong dream. I was in tears, obviously. Go home, call my father at work. My father played minor league baseball too. So it was a huge goal of mine to be able to do that and to kind of share that with him. But yeah, man, I mean, I dropped the plunger for the toilet. I was scrubbing toilets, dropped it. I quit, and I was off to the races.
I mean, that is incredible. I mean, and you know what? It's New York still. It's still New
Right.
York. That's
It's
still,
still
I
New
mean, I
York.
know it's definitely not the Mets or not the team. I got that because I'm a diehard Yankee fan, but it's still a great accomplishment. What was that like, though? What was the training like? What was all that stuff like?
One of my best friends, we got drafted in the same, was Todd Hundley. And Todd went on to have a great career with the Mets and, the Dodgers,
Yeah,
Cubs. And, he's a Palatine grad. His dad, Randy Hundley, was a catcher for a lot of years, with Ernie Banks and Ron Santo and those guys. And, Todd,
sure.
It was a great experience. I had major arm issues. Back then, I needed Tommy John surgery. So I played in 87, and Todd was a teammate of mine. I was in Little Falls, New York. Following year, went to spring training, Port St. Lucie, Florida, going to the Sally League, South Carolina, and my arm it was shot. So I needed to make a decision. I was 2 semesters away from graduating college. And I'm like, you know what? This has been great, but it's time to move on. And that's what I ended up doing. So I didn't get the surgery back then. Getting the Tommy John surgery was a major, major surgery. It's not like it is
Major
now.
compared to his now.
Oh,
Absolutely.
it's
Yeah,
like getting your
yeah.
tooth pulled, you come back and you're better than ever. Back then, that
Right.
wasn't the case. And so I moved on from that, finished up, got my degree, and then started my, journalism career.
Pat, do you have any regrets at all? Wish he maybe would have took that surgery and see what would have happened?
Well, yeah, the major regret with the surgery is it still affects me now. I mean, my elbow, it doesn't straighten out all the way, my arm.
Okay.
And
All
so
right.
when I golf, I can maybe golf 2 days in a row. I can't do a third day because my arm is throbbing.
Okay.
So stuff like that. But for the most part, yeah, you look back in life and say, yeah, I should have got the surgery. Maybe I could have bounced back and made a career of it. But I've had such a great, newspaper career, my wife, just how things all have fallen in place, and still living in Blue Island and, working at the Lyric. And just if I don't do that, who knows what would have happened. So I've had a great, great life, man. I mean,
Well,
a
you know
great
what? You
wife,
see,
I have a
you got
child.
a
So
great,
it's
yeah,
awesome.
you got a great story. You got some good people behind you. It's really important, folks. My good friend Pat from the Lyric Theater, folks. Before we talk, we got some more stuff with Pat. We're going to talk actually now about the theater. But before that, don't forget every Tuesday is Twisted Tuesday with Carol Brandolino. Every Tuesday, folks. And let's get to another sponsor, folks. It's the summer. It's hot. It's time. Companies need stuff done in their businesses. And there's so many good local people that we like. Of course, our sponsor, how about Gorelli Pavement Service, family owned and operated. They service areas include Illinois, Wisconsin, Indiana, specializing in parking lots. They do asphalt, concrete work. They do repairs, replacement, seal coating, crack filling, lot painting. They are a 5-star rating. Call and speak to a knowledge representative at 815-271-5835 and check out their website at GorelliPavementServices.com. And then, folks, let's not also forget to go to my good buddy, Mr. Jack Vena Landscaping, for all your landscaping needs. They offer monthly maintenance programs, bush trimming, spring and fall cleanup, bed mulching, fertilizing, weed control. They also offer plant design service, installation, servicing the North Shore for over 44 years. That's Jack Vena Landscaping. Call Tommy at 847-432-5266 and mention Ocean's Pit. It is Ocean's Pit, folks. My good friend Pat from the Lyric Theater. All right, Pat. So how did you get involved with the Lyric Theater? Again, the Lyric Theater is 12952 Western Avenue in Blue Island. That's thelyrictheater.com, 708-932-0700. And it opened in March of 2022. So tell me, how did that all come about, Pat?
So, I took a buyout from the Trib in, I don't even know when it was, 2021, I think. I think it was 2022. 21 or 22. So I didn't know what I was going to do. I was just like, I needed to try something a little different. And I got approached by ownership group, Larry Guerretto, the Big Cheese. I had worked for him at Beggar's Pizza when I was in high school. And like I said, my mother was there for 14 years. So I knew the Guerretto family. Also, Ray Cantello and his wife, Janet Cantello, who was Larry's sister. Ray's a good friend of mine. And they approached me about getting involved with the Lyric Theater. Doing some live events and just different things there. It's in Blue Island. So, like I said, I had no idea what I was going to do. I figured, you know what? It's 3 blocks from my house. I love the Guerrettos, the Cantellos, the Melvin families. I have a lot of respect for them. and I love Blue Island. I knew what opening this theater meant to this town. And, I just said, let's make a go. Let's see what I can do. I do love music. I have older brothers who exposed me as 5 and 6. They're like 8 and 11 years older than me. So Led Zeppelin, Guess Who, Jerry Lee Lewis, Little Richard. So all these different kinds of music I'd listened to through my brothers,
Right.
And then I was able to form my own path musically. And I've gone to dozens of concerts in my life. So I'm a big music guy, Dean Martin, Frank Sinatra, I like all kinds of music. So, but they obviously knew that I love Blue Island. So that was a key thing. I was going to give it my all, and it's a passion of mine. And thank God, I'm so fortunate they did approach me on this to be a part of this, because it's kind of reinvigorated Blue Island. And, the big cheese, Larry Goretto, man, what he's done for this town, to invest millions of dollars into the Lyric Theater. The Lyric Theater was shuttered for at least 25 years.
Pat, now Lyric Theater was just so people don't know, was it just a regular movie theater at one time?
It was a regular movie theater built in 1917. As a kid growing up in Blue Island, that's where we went to watch movies. I saw Rocky there, Star Wars there, movie time with Bo Derek. So, that's where you'd go to the theater. And in the late 1980s, it closed. That's when, bigger, movie theaters were coming around often, and all kinds of different things. So one, theater movie screen just wasn't in vogue back then, man. So it closed. And though it seated like 900 people, it endured a couple fires through the years. It was a resilient theater. So in the 90s, a couple different ownership groups tried to make a go of it without much success. And it was shuttered, man. Walk past that place for 20, 25 years and just closed. Nothing there in the heart of Blue Island. And so the silver lining in this thing is it pulls at the heartstrings, is Larry Goretto's mom was a ticket taker at the Lyric. And in 1948, she met who would be her husband, Angelo Goretto, at the theater. Wow. So Larry's daughter, Amanda, when the theater went up for sale a few years ago, right before the pandemic, she's like, you got to buy this, Dad. This is part of our history.
Right.
So Larry bought the theater, and and Larry's mom is still alive. She's 92 years old, lives 2 blocks from the theater. She's come to a number of shows, Janet, and just a marvelous woman, a sweetheart of a lady who was great friends with my mother. And so they took a chance on this thing, and people thought they were nuts. But he has invested millions of dollars in this theater. As you can attest, it's a beautiful theater. It's got that 30s, 40s Vegas cabaret feel to it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. He's spared no expense. We got top of the line audio, top of the line lighting, and his daughter Amanda, and her husband Pat, they designed the whole place, from the colors to the doorknobs to the light fixtures. They did it all, and it's a beautiful place. People walk in and they lose their breath when they see the place. It's a beautiful.
Yeah, you would never think that. You're right. You wouldn't think of that when you're driving past it. You pull up, you don't know what it's going to be like. You walk in, it's almost like you walk into a Las Vegas show lounge. It's got the stairs going to these little tables, and it's got the VIP section upstairs, which is really fantastic. It is a beautiful thing. So when you guys decided to open it all, was it always you were going to keep it just a regular movie theater, or were you thinking of always having live entertainment and dinner shows like you guys are doing? Was that part of the original plan?
I think, when the place opened in August of 2022, the game plan was private events. And Scott Arnold, who handles all the private events for us, the weddings, the class reunions, anniversaries, Scott handles all that, does a great job. They were focusing more on weddings and movies.
Right.
Showing movies again. But as we got going a little bit, they kind of realizing the key was the first live act we had at the Lyric was Tony Ocean's Rat Pack. And I know the exact date, October 9th, 2022. Sold out show. So that was October 9th. Following weekend, we had Rick Elvis Saucedo, Southside Legend. Sold out show. So boom, now we're thinking, ownership's thinking, maybe we need to pivot here and kind of put a little bit more focus on the live events. So as 2023 rolls around, we start, again, I go from being, 2 events a month, live events, to now I'm going to have to book 8 live events a month.
Yeah.
So we pivoted hard, and Larry made the necessary arrangements to make sure, with the sound investment and the lighting investment, that this thing was going to work. And it's been unbelievable. So, we're bringing in national acts. Of course, we take care of the locals like yourself, man,
Sure, sure.
because you guys are so good. You've had 4 shows, 4 sellouts. You, Bill, and Elliot, man, we love you guys. You guys are
Well,
like
we
family.
love the theater. It's a beautiful place in Blue Island. The way were treated too, and the way the layout is great. What would you say when you come in there? What's your biggest seller food wise? I mean, what does
Well,
everybody love? I mean, I know they love the pizza. The pizza is
right.
over the top. But what else do you guys? What else can you got? What else do you serve at your shows there besides pizza?
Well, the thing with us is, we have a concession stand that has all the normal concession stand goodies. We have popcorn, but, the slices of Beggar's Pizza. But you can also pre-order Beggar's Pizza before shows. And
Yeah,
when you arrive, it's on your table waiting for you. You could have a good, pizza, wings, salads, sandwiches, whatever. But, we'll do blues brunches. We'll do Mother's Day brunches. And so, there's really not. Pizza's number one, man. Beggars has 26 locations.
it's
They have
it's
26 locations
great
for a reason.
pizza. I know you always bring it up to the VIP room up there for us. The
Yeah,
pizza is fantastic over there. Pat, how many people does the actual theater hold again?
we can get about 300. About 300. Depends on the suite situation. If we sell both suites, but usually one of the suites we keep for the entertainers. But we can get to 300, 309, right around there. Like tomorrow night, Saturday night, we've got a Mo show coming in town, and it's sold out.
Yeah,
But yeah, it could hold right around 300. Weddings are a different story. We could arrange it from 50 people up to 200, 250. I think we're gonna have a 300-person wedding in August. And another person.
sure.
As much as the live events have been key, I mentioned Scott Arnold with the private events. Heather Durkin, who's kind of our administrative person. Tony, I'm sure you've met her, a little blonde
Sure.
who does,
Yeah, yeah.
she does everything for us, man, that we would not. The ship would sink without what she does. And Mandy Burnett, she's awesome too. She's one of the other managers, and she does some bartending as well. And we have these theme events. She really takes it to another level. And my wife, Erin, she does all the marketing, the social media stuff, man, and she gets us out there. And it's been just a team effort
Well,
and a
Pat,
great
that's something.
ownership group.
It's amazing how you say that because as you guys, your wife works with you during at this establishment at the Lyric Theater. Um, is that difficult sometimes because you're working and then you have to go home too with the same? Me and my wife, she's my agent, and we bicker all the time. So, what's that feeling like for people who maybe don't go through something like that?
Well, see, what my wife, it's not a full-time thing for her. She is another job. So what
Yeah,
she does is mainly she works at home. So when I'm at home, we kind of work together on things, but she'll do some work on her own. So it's not like we're doing this 24/7 because
I got it.
that would
Okay,
be a
okay,
challenge. That would be a challenge as
that would be a challenge.
amazing as my wife is. And we have a 4-year-old daughter. So you throw that into the mix and, things could get a little interesting. But my wife is incredible. And like myself, she's a lifelong Blue Island resident. She loves this town. She wants to see this thing thrive as much as I do, as much as ownership does. So yeah, it's we just love being a part of this.
It's yeah. The Lyric Theater is answering, so that's good. You got some good answers there. Yeah. So Pat, for the Lyric Theater again, 12952 Western Avenue in Blue Island, folks. LyricTheater.com. Pat, yourself, March 2020, TV. Put the TV on, radio. COVID hits, or some people call it the flu. Um, what was your first reaction? Everything's closed. Can't do everything. Can't go
Well,
out. Can't do this. Tell me what happened.
I'll tell you where I was. I know exactly where I was. I was at Bloom Township High School covering a playoff boys basketball game. And that hit. I'm in the gym and thinking, you're not really sure what's going to happen. But the next day, they canceled the playoffs. And it was obviously a huge uproar and stuff. And yeah, your world's turned upside down. Especially as a newspaper guy that, every day you got a daily newspaper, you got to churn out stories. There's no
Yeah.
sports, so that was a challenge having to come up with copy every day when there's nothing going on. So you really had to do some digging and doing different things. So it affected me on a professional level. And then, on a personal level, you're not seeing your friends. you got to be careful. I think everyone's lost loved ones through the thing, man. I mean, we lost some really close friends, parents, and it was a tough situation, man. And you're trying to support businesses in town because you don't want to see them close. And
Sure.
we're
Yeah.
doing all we can to order takeout food and make sure these businesses aren't shuttered and we turn into a ghost town. So it was a huge, huge thing. But there's silver linings in everything. And I think it forced some businesses to do different things and things that have stuck, especially predominantly in town here, some outdoor, patios and things like that they would never have done if it wasn't for COVID. So there's a silver lining in everything. But yeah, it was a very, very challenging time, man. There's no doubt about it.
It really was, and I also believe also too that I think once it was lifted or whatever it was, and then people found out other things that happened with it. But it seemed like when people were finally comfortable with going back out again, it just made businesses even better. More people
Right.
went out, more people spent money, more people supported the town, which, like you said, the silver lining makes a lot of sense. We're talking about my good friend Pat, folks. So the Lyric Theater, that's 12952 Western Avenue, Blue Island. Anything that you see that's coming to the future to the Lyric Theater that you guys maybe going to try to do something else maybe to change it a little bit or add to it or anything for customers?
Well, there could be a little something. We'll see. I mean, there's always talk of trying to get more seats involved in the place, but it's talked about. But it's a tough one where we're situated at. But
Yeah,
never say
right.
never with Larry Garetto. I can tell you that the Big Cheese. If there's a will, there's a way. But we're just so fortunate. To get the performers we're getting. I mean, we're pulling acts from California, Florida, Vegas, Texas, North Carolina. So we're bringing in national acts. We're bringing in originals like Michael McDermott, Orland Park guy, man. And
Yeah,
he's
Southside guy. He's been
internationally known.
around a long time, Michael McDermott.
Man.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was a
Very
great
talented, very talented.
Yeah, very talented guy. Eric Lindell. We brought in Eric Lindell out of Florida. He's a full country guy, and we had guests from 5 different states come to the Lyric Theater to come and see him. So we're trying to balance a little bit of originals and obviously the tributes, man. And we pride ourselves on having the best tributes in the world, man. We're just Lisa McClowry, the Cher tribute. Her.
Sure. She does very good at that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, but
we're very blessed to have been there, and it gave us a chance to be there. We've been there 4 times. I think the Rat Pack, Ocean's Rat Pack, sold out 4 times, which is great.
Yep, you're 4 for 4, Tony.
We got, thank you. And we're coming back for December for another Christmas show or a holiday show, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, two Christmas shows.
December 14th, folks. December 14th. Those tickets. We're going to have a Christmas in July ticket announcement in the next couple of weeks. And so Christmas with Ocean's Rat Pack, December 14th. It's going to be I think it's 2:30 and 7 o'clock shows.
2 shows. So it's going to be a good day there. Absolutely. It's going to be fun. Pat, I do. Yeah.
Be great.
Well, let me ask you a couple more questions. Bears, real fast. This Caleb Williams. On paper, so was the last guy. It was supposed to be the greatest thing on earth. And the guy before him was supposed to be the greatest guy on earth. Here's what I don't get, Pat. Why are the scouts, whatever you call them, the agents that book these people, why aren't they getting fired when someone doesn't work? Or because if this Caleb Williams doesn't hit for the Bears, the managers, they all got to go.
Yeah, I mean, and the one concern with the kid is he is undersized, man. This isn't a 6'3", 6'4", 6'5" guy. He's 6'1", man. I mean, that could be tough. But I'll tell you, overall, what they've done, the free agent signings, the drafts they've had the last couple of years, is Ryan Poles. I think he knows what he's doing. It's tough for a rookie quarterback to come in, though, and play in the NFL. I don't care who it is. Everyone's got growing pains, but they've surrounded him with some great receivers. The offensive line's getting better. Defense looks like it's a top 5, top 10 defense in the NFL. We have a great kicker. So I think the pieces are in place, but man, you look at Green Bay, Minnesota, Detroit, they're loaded. The division.
I think the only problem you have with the Chicago Bears is McCaskey. They got to go.
That is the albatross, man. That is the anchor on our ankles, man. I mean, that's the problem. That's the problem. But hopefully they stay away and let these guys do what they do. But I'm excited, man. I haven't been this excited for the Bears in a long time, but they should be able to get to 10 wins this year, man. And as long as they stay healthy, it's all about the health. I don't know.
As long as they stay, we'll have to see about that, folks. Being a New York Giants fan, I'm really in trouble.
Oh,
well, we are still the only team to beat Tom Brady, not once but twice in a Super Bowl. Nobody else with Mr. Manning himself. All right. So anyway, Richard Hamlin, to answer your question, yes, I think Enough's Enough might be there in April of next year. Richard. So, yeah, they are from Blue Island. Anyway, Pat, I want to thank you for your time, my brother. Don't forget, visit the lyrictheater.com. Go check it out, the bands that are performing there. 12952 Western Avenue in Blue Island, 708-972-07. Oh, that's it. Is it 72? The way
it's
I wrote it down.
972-0700, lyrictheater.com. We got a bunch of great stuff coming up.
What do you got coming up this weekend?
So tonight. We've got Dueling Pianos tonight, Windy City Dueling Pianos tonight. They've got a summer residency. We've got the Motown Sounds of Touch coming tomorrow. That's sold out. We got a Rod Stewart tribute, Steve Bobbitt, next Friday night. He's phenomenal. You'll think you're
Steve's been around a long time too.
Yep.
Steve's been around a long time
He's
too.
Awesome. But we've got so much stuff, Tony. Texas Flood, Stevie Ray Vaughan tribute coming from Texas. We got Peach Jam and Allman Brothers tribute coming. And then we're celebrating our 2-year anniversary, August 3rd, Expo 76. Guys from Poydok Pondering, Muka Paza, they formed this band, man, and they are something. It's 70s music you could dance to, hits that, you're like, man, I forgot about that song. Just great songs, horn section. But that's August 3rd. August 3rd. It's going to be a party.
Well, happy 2-year anniversary to the Lyric Theater. Thank you, Pat and Larry. Larry, of course, a great owner, and the whole family.
He sends his regards, man.
Yes, please give everybody my best, Pat. Thank you so much. Don't forget, guys, to visit the Lyric Theater, folks. Again, thank you, Jerry Jams, for putting your address there, 952 Western Avenue in Blue Island. That's 708-972-0700. And check the website, lyrictheater.com. Get out there and support. Pat, God bless you, man. Have an incredible weekend. Take care, pal.
You too, man. Thank you.
Thank you. My good friend Pat, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. Lyric Theater. Buy local, shop local, support Southside Blue Island, support theaters in general. That's what we need to do. And that's what it's about, folks. A lot of great things. Listen, I need to start off by saying thank you so much for the people who showed up last night to the concert in the park in Schiller Park. I want to say thank you, Roy McCampbell. My attorney was there. Roy Albert, of course. My friend Carol Minotti. Thank you, Lillian. And I want to thank, of course, the mayor of Schiller Park, Nick Chiaffa. Mayor, thank you for having us. And Marge, as assistant, that we've been there, for at least the last 10 years. So thank you. Tonight we'll be at the Chicago Prime Steakhouse, me and Double T, Tony Toto. That's an 8 o'clock hit. Tomorrow we'll be at Famous Freddy's Roadhouse in Fox Lake, outside on the water, baby. That's a 2 o'clock hit, 2 to 5. Me and Jerry Jams and Double T. And Sunday, Oceans Rat Pack will be at Mount Carmel Festival in Kenosha, Wisconsin. Going back to Wisconsin, that's from 3 to 5:30. That's this Sunday, folks. A lot of good stuff. How about another commercial, folks? Let's not forget our good friends from Deutsch Power Center, servicing the construction and diesel industry in Chicago for the last 100 years. Call my buddy Sal at 224-276-6550. And let's not forget also, folks, if you're looking for some windows and you're looking for some siding, this is it. It's all buy local, shop local. We're talking about airtight windows, folks. If you're looking for that, that's just how you're supposed to do it. And I love it because it's a great company and they're good people. If you're looking for new windows and you want it done right, do it right with Airtight. For honesty, quality, dependability, do it right with Airtight. Service Chicagoland area for over 35 years. Do it right with Airtight. Call Lou at 708-788-5000 and mention Ocean's Pit or Tony Ocean, and you guys will get some great special deals for my good buddy Louis Pipes from Lou. So you got to love it. And I want to say also, I tell you, I go to movies as much as I can. There just hasn't been that many great movies to see. So, and the movies that I've seen Kong versus Godzilla. I just seen the new one, the new Kevin Costner movie, Hostage, American Saga Part 1. It's about a 4-hour movie, 3.5-hour movie. I love Costner. I thought the movie was great. And it's part one. I think part two is coming out August 14th. So me, I go by myself. I get my popcorn. I get my drink. I sit there and I watch. I get in great seats and I watched the movie. I thought it was great. If you love westerns, check out Hostage American Saga Part One. Very, very, very cool. All right, folks, we got a lot of things to talk about here before we say goodbye. Again, Pat was on. I want to thank my good friend Pat from the Lyric Theater for being on. Jill, I thought the movie was fantastic, actually. All right, so also, folks, we got some things coming up. Bocce tournament, hardcore Italians. That's right, the Columbus Classic Day. I'm proud to be playing bocce with our team, the Oceanettes. It's going to happen, folks, September 28th, 9 a.m. at the Casa Italiana in Stone Park. It's the second annual. You can get tickets. We're looking for some sponsors for that, people, too. Eventbrite.com. Get your tickets. My good friend Mike from Hardcore Italians. It's going to be good. I got Danny Mazzi from Armando's as my partner. Yours truly, Joey Spins, and my good buddy Ralphie from Ace Hardware. That's our foursome. We're going to have a lot of fun on that. So I'm excited about that. Speaking of another good friend of mine, Mr. Ron Onesti, folks, the Italian American Sports Hall of Fame is underway. They're working on it. There's a brand new, they're getting exhibits now, putting back in, but they got a mural that they just painted on the walls on Harlem Avenue in Chicago. Go check it out. It's going to be very, very cool. Ron Onesti, President, John Leonardi, Vice President, and everybody involved in the Italian Sports Hall of Fame in city of Chicago. It's going to be very, very cool. Wait till all the exhibits are done. They're going to do a great job at that. 45 years ago today, Disco Demolition, Kaminsky Park, Steve Dahl, Gary Meyer, The Loop, Coho Lips, boom, blowing up disco records, Disco Demolition. Back then, folks, you had your rock and rollers, you had your Loop fans, and we all loved it. And all of a sudden, this thing called disco comes in, 76, 77, 78. I hated disco when I was a kid. I love it now, but I hated it back then. I was a true blue co-head, the Loop, and Steve Dahl was the commander-in-chief, and Gary Meyer, and it was fantastic. And they blew up the records, of course, doubleheader. I think it was the first time they canceled both games, or one game at least. I forgot what it was, but at White Sox. And it was 45 years ago. I don't know if you guys were there. Thank you, Jill. Horizon American Hostage. I wrote it down wrong. American Saga Part 1. So check it out. Anyway, it was cool. I don't know if you guys were there. I got a DV signed copy. I wasn't happy about the situation. I didn't care about the situation, to be honest with you, Albert. I wasn't really into baseball, at least not the Sox. So to me, I didn't really care. I'm glad that it happened because it tried to show some sort of message. And now years later, I love disco. I mean, that disco, old school disco, was very, very cool. We do a lot of those songs in the Tony Ocean Show right now. But at that time, it was big. It was huge to be part of something, even though we weren't there to actually, start the bomb, whatever it was, blow up the records. But it was a very cool. And of course, it took a lot of people took a lot of hits. Steve Dahl got in trouble, fined, of course, with all that. But I thought it was very, very cool. All right, folks, what else we got here? Also, if anybody, a friend of mine, that's Tony Cassano, no relation to Anthony, Frank Cassano. This is Tony Cassano, a different person. He had some major surgery done, and we're just saying that it went very well. So our prayers are still with Tony Cassano and his family. But he is doing well. I guess they sent him home. So if anybody's wondering about that. Okay, what do we got here, folks? Benji Gregory. Name might sound familiar, but he played Brian Tanner in the TV show Elf, has passed away. Young kid too. I don't know how old he is now, but he played on the show Elf, if you remember watching the TV show. And remember the song from the 70s, Please Come to Boston for the First Time? Well, it was a song from the 70s. David Loggins has passed away as well. He was the singer-songwriter for the song Please Come to Boston. They put disco music out of business, and I'm a dancer. Disco is great music to dance to. Well, I don't know if they put disco out of business, Karen, but they did put a little click to it because it was, Saturday Night Fever came out and John Travolta and all that. At that time, I thought, what the hell is this? Years later, I've realized how much I loved them. I was always a Bee Gees fan, but they weren't disco. They were the British Invasion Bee Gees. So it did put a little crush to it, but I don't think it killed it. But it definitely put a dent into that particular situation. Also, our prayers go out to Rod Argent from the original, one of the bands from the England called the Zombies. He had a stroke, so he did announce his retirement. One of the members of the Zombies. Interesting stuff, folks. It's Ocean's Pit, little show about big things. We got some stories here. All right. Top 5. Which we haven't talked. We talked with Pat. We talked to Cubs. We talked Sox. We talked Bears. We talked Hawks. We didn't talk about basketball. But right now, this is the top five best NBA players of all time. Top 5. Coming in at number 5, Julius Erving. Coming in at number 4, Larry Bird. Coming in at number 3, LeBron James. Coming in at number 2, Kobe Bryant. And coming in at number 1, MJ Michael Jordan. That is what it is. Did you guys happen to see the President Joe Biden's interview yesterday on TV? First of all, did you see the one a couple days before with George Stephanopoulos, whatever his name is? According to ABC, George Stephanopoulos has seen the video being, as seen on video, was asked about Biden should step down. I don't know if he, wow. That was very hard to watch. And I'm not a President Joe Biden fan. You guys all know that. But it was very hard to watch. And I felt, my wife too, Laura, we felt sorry for the guy. Really felt sorry that he just kept bashing. I don't know what he knew he was talking about. Trump this, Trump this, Trump this. He called him Vice President Trump. I mean, why are you giving all this money to Ukraine? I don't know what Ukraine has. I don't know. I don't know what Ukraine has on the Biden family to keep giving them all money. What about the money for our country? I mean, it was a joke. I don't even think he knows what day it is, Ronnie B. I too agree on that. I feel sorry for the guy. And the Democrats, to me, are in big trouble with this. He won't step down. He won't step down. It was pathetic that he still goes on television. The debate was bad enough. If they're going to do another one, I don't know. If I don't understand why Jill just didn't take Dr. Jill, take him and just go retire and enjoy what life you have left, because it was a disgrace. It was sad. And this is the person that's running our country. And the thing that scares me is the people in charge of him, or the people knew of him, the doctors, the lawyers, this committee knows what condition this man is in. They know he's not fit to run the United States of America, folks. Those people should be just as bad in trouble, just as bad as our president, who has no clue what's going on. It was horrible. Our country, take care of our country first. Our country, our homeless, our veterans, us. Case closed. All right, folks, here's a couple of saving tips. I don't know if this happens to you, but if it does, a lot of people drown simply because they didn't know what to do when your car driving it goes into water. Fast accident, you end up in the ocean, you end up in a lake, wherever it is you end up. Couple things you need to remember. If you find yourself underwater in a car, don't panic. Number one, don't waste your energy trying to push the door open. Number two, do not open the windows and force the water entering in your car will not allow you to get out. Number three, take out the headrest. Number four, use the steel sharp tip and break the back window that has kicked out the glass on it. The car, by engineering design, intended to float on the water. The rear window will always be facing the exit. This could save your life. Just a couple tips. Just a couple tips, right? We didn't know, but wow. Crazy stuff. One lady just said, I paid $7.29 for a head of lettuce. First of all, I want to know where she's shopping at. And I know things are expensive. Costco has romaine 5 heads for $5.84 each. Head large and okay, so they're large enough for big servants, crunchy, delicious. I don't know. Where is she paying $7.25 for a head of lettuce? Gentleman over here, Jake, said he went to the grocery store. Name brand butter cost $7.29 a pound, but for their store brand was only $5.19. Crazy what people are paying. And for people that have to go out and live on their own, I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, it's got to be tough. It's got to be tough. Just in general, when you're trying to make ends meet and you're trying to survive and you put your grocery list, it's crazy. I think I mentioned it yesterday or a day before. A guy had his from 2022. He took exact shopping list and he bought the exact same items in 2024, and it was like triple difference. People, we were just talking about President Joe Biden again, folks. George Clooney, big Democrat supporter, tells Biden he's not the same man, he needs to go. These are his actors in Hollywood saying that he needs to go. Phyllis Hodges, how are you doing, my dear friend? Phyllis, the first lady of music, of course, and of course, the wife of the great Nicholas Hodges, which I'm going to stop and see Nick tonight at Mezzi in Schaumburg. Oh, that's right. Someone told me years ago that auto windows is not short circuit. Oh, thank you, Lola. There's Lola Lorenzo from Donnie G's. Great seeing you. Caputo's. Oh, thank you, Albert, for that. They should feed people. Yeah, you know, guys, it's going to keep going. I know. I mean, it's just crazy. And just what Phyllis said, it's hard for kids to get started on their own right now. When you look at the grocery list, it's going to be crazy. We know what it is. Nuts. Even when you go to Aldi, it's expensive. You know, Aldi, people would go there. Stuff's a little bit, the prices are a little cheaper, but it's crazy over there. I love this quote, and you guys will understand it if you're dog lovers. I look normal, but believe me, I talk to dogs. I have conversations with our dogs. My wife composed. We all do, but I think they even answer me. I think they even answer me, folks. Oh my God. A couple things also, folks. How about this? Whoever thought Redbox? Remember the red box, the big box out in front of Walgreens or a Costco or at all these different stores? There was this red box, and they have DVDs, and they have it for $1, and you get it for a day, and you have to return it back. And they had all the main movies coming in, and they had old movies is great, right? They just filed for bankruptcy. They're going out of business, folks. They will shut down. Redbox was shut down, and 1,000 people will be unemployed. This is our economy. No one's using the DVDs anymore. I love DVDs. I love DVDs. How much stuff I still have on DVDs that you can't find on any of some of the movies that I have. You can't even find on any streaming or any YouTube. I mean, or you can't even find them on any of this. No Netflix or whatever it is. I can't find some of the stuff that I do have on DVD. So I feel bad for the Redbox. It's another place. I felt bad when the Blockbuster closed. I was freaked out. Now, there's still some of family videos. They're still out. I think there's still one on Roselle, Irving Park Road here. But, man, it's just places are crazy. There you go, Jerry. Jerry Jams, what's up, buddy? Great job, Jerry, last night, along with Danny Ramundi and Double T, Tony Toto. Thank you, guys. Red Box is out of the Oak Brook. Okay, there you go. Well, they're going to be out of work, and so 1,000 other people will be unemployed, guys. It's 1 o'clock. It's time for us to go. So, we have a couple shows coming up. Don't forget, tonight, Chicago Prime Steakhouse. Tomorrow, Freddy's famous Freddy's tomorrow. And Sunday, Mount Carmel Kenosha Fest with Oceans Rat Pack 3 to 5. Next Thursday, we'll be at Berkeley Fest concert in the park, Electric Nights. Next Thursday, next Wednesday, I'm sorry. Thursday, we will be at, Saturday, we'll be at Taverna on Division, me and Double T on the 20th. 21st, we'll be at the Speakeasy, Ron Onesti's Club Arcada Speakeasy, which celebrating Lee Stevens' birthday. That's the 21st. The 25th, we will be at Positano's with Jerry Jams and Lisa P. in Oak Brook. The 29th, 27th, we'll be at Dirty Nelly's with Mojo's Jukebox and a band called Small Town, a tribute to John Cougar opening the show. On the 31st of July, we will be at Kelsey's Roadhouse. Me and Double T doing a special benefit for Almost Home Foundation for Dogs, Lake Barrington. You can bring your dogs. There's going to be 50-50. There's going to be raffle. There's going to be food. There's going to be excitement. We'll be doing a 190-minute show for Almost Home Foundation on July 31st at Kelsey's Roadhouse in Lake Barrington. And folks, let's not forget Ron Onesti's Taylor Street Fest coming to Chicago August 8th through the 11th. We'll be there Friday, August 9th. The Peroni stage, the main stage, we're headlining it at 8:30 with the main event band. We're going to have my good friend, of course, Daryl Armanstadt, the lovely Regina Karma, Tony Toto, Danny Ramundi, Jerry Jams. It's going to be fantastic. Irene Michaels will be making a pit stop. And who else might be joining us for that dance party on the 9th of August at Taylor Street, 8:30. Can't wait for that. And then we'll be at Mars in Lake Geneva on August 24th. How about birthdays? Wrestling fan Sami Zayn, 39 years old. Brock Lesnar turns 46 years old. Fred Gwynn, remember him from My Cousin Vinny, or Herman Munster. That's right. Christine McVie, formerly of Fleetwood Mac, of course, would be celebrating a birthday today. Brett Summers, you might remember her. She was the wife of Jack Klugman, the real wife of Jack Klugman, of course, from The Odd Couple, Oscar Madison. She was also on Match Game. Frankie Valli turns 90 years old. Deborah Decker, my friend Deborah, Ronnie B's lovely lady, celebrating a birthday, Deborah. Happy birthday. Melrose Park, Mount Carmel Fest, 131 years. God bless. Robin Snyder, I hope you're watching. Car 54, where are you? Thank you, Albert. Oscar Hammerstein II celebrating a birthday. Richard Simmons celebrating a birthday. Oh, my God, you got to love it. Gene Rayburn, my favorite TV host from Match Game, would be celebrating a birthday. I think we got all those guys underway then. All right, guys, it is time to go. We'll be back on Monday. Let's not forget Armando Supermarkets, buy local, shop local, 925 Liberty Street in Elgin, and Crash Champions Collision Auto Repair for all your collision and auto repair needs. CrashChampions.com. Thank you, Pat, from the Lyric Theater in lovely Blue Island off of Western Avenue. Check out thelyrictheater.com and go see some shows. Guys, we got to go. Let's not forget our good friends from Ace Hardware. Ace is the place. Now, guys, you got some time to get down if you're in the Warrenville location. Yesterday, they were in the Norwich location, but today they're in Warrenville from 11 to 3. Get out there. They got free eats. They're going to be grilling. And go check out the Craftsman, number 20 Craftsman NASCAR. You can take pictures there. You can pose. You can check it out. And they got some great stuff over there. 50% off all lawn and garden decor. 40% off outdoor decorative chimes. Patio sets on sale. Lowest price of the season. Also, the Norwich and the Des Plaines store have handymans available, licensed and insured. Don't forget Tell them to grill your ace off and get $20 off any grill purchase by saying grill your ace off. Ace Hardware, buy local, shop local, helping neighbors before they were neighborhoods. Guys, have an incredible weekend. We'll be back on Monday with another great week of fun. Guys, buy local, shop local, support local establishments, support live entertainment. And God bless you all. The great words of Ringo Starr, peace and love. Have a great weekend, everybody. Make America great. Let's just get it back so we can start thinking about our country. Let's take care of our country. Let's make our country first. United States of America. God bless you, everybody. Be careful. Be good. I love you guys. God bless. Nick Sahajas, the piano man. Take us out, Nicholas. Goodbye, everybody.
Oh, it's the end of the show. See you later from Tony O.
Bye-bye, everybody. Have a great weekend.